Hi, how are you doing? Darrell here. I'm glad you came back today to see me. I really appreciate it. I really trust that all this stuff is helping you out. You notice I do this on my patio. I'm at my house and having fun, and just golfers they'll frequently say, well, why aren't you doing this at the golf course? What difference does it make? You can't see the ball fly. If I make the ball fly, or if I put, if I do hit shots at the golf course on occasion with some of the things I do, they'll say, well, we can't see the ball fly. Well, that takes a lot of expensive equipment. I'm just a little one-man show here. I'm not trying to be important. I'm trying to help you play golf better and get more fun out of the game. This is for you. This isn't for me. I already know how to play. I'm retired. I'm having a lot of fun. I want you to learn to play better golf, and I want some things to start to make better sense to you, okay? Now today, I'm on this patio for a reason, because I want to show you something that most of you have written about, a lot of you have written about. They said, Darrell, I can't hit my fairway woods or my hybrids. How come? Well, there are some specific reasons why you can't. Number one, no matter how much you've studied or thought about it, even with the things I've told you, you're not really trusting the fact that backward spin makes flight. You're trying to get under the ball and lift it. I'm a certified golf sports psychology instructor. I've studied what the mind does to you in this game a bunch. And what happens, we set up with a fairway wood or a hybrid, and we look down there and we see very, very little loft. So the mind thinks that there's got to be in this arc somewhere a place where you can just make the corner from the bottom and start up and catch that ball. If you really stop and think about it, golfers, the golf ball, even on the grass, for the most part, is sitting very, very, very close to the dirt. And there may be just a 1/16 of an inch, but there is grass. The ball is lower than the top of the grass. No matter how fine a fairways you're playing, the ball is a little bit lower, teensy tiny bit lower than your grass. There's no way you're going to get that golf ball airborne by trying to get under it and lift it. That's why you top it all the time and skink it off into the woods and roll it down the fairway, and you're frustrated. Can you hear that sound? I'm sure you can. That's the bottom of my fairway wood, my good playing club, smacking the turf or the concrete. Now what we've got to do to play golf is right there. We've got to learn to bounce the sole of the club off of the ground. Now, the first thought that comes to most of you is, well, Darrell, when I do that, I bounce it off the ground 6 inches to a foot behind the ball. And I just can't get over it. Yes, you can. Now, listen to me real closely. A gentleman came to see me some 20 years ago. And he said, Darrell, I'd have been here sooner. You're too expensive. But in the meantime, I've taken, I can't remember if it was 8 or 9. It doesn't matter. He'd taken a ton of series of lessons at $200 or $300 a pop. And he said, I've been fighting for 1.5 to 2 years hitting behind the ball. And he said, I just finally have no choice but to come see you and get it fixed. He said, I know you can fix me. I just didn't want to spend that much money. So I said, okay. He'd hit some balls. It was all warmed up. I said, I'll tell you what, Jack, why don't you go ahead and hit one for me? Had a 7-iron, took his first swing, hit about 1 inch behind the ball, flubbed it out there about 85 yards, looked at me with his hands on his hips and says, there it is, right there. He said, I've been doing that for almost 2 years. And he said, none of the golf pros around here can fix me. What am I doing wrong? I said, Jack, it looks like to me that you're hitting about 1 inch behind the ball. He said, yeah, I know. He said, what's causing it? I said, well, I think the cause of it is the fact that your club's hitting the ground a little too early and it needs to be hitting the ball just before it hits the turf. Well, yeah, I know that, Darrell, but what's making me do it? Well, I said, the thing making you do it is you're hitting the ground about 1 inch behind the ball. He said, yeah, but how come I'm doing it? Well, I don't know exactly why you're doing it, Jack. I don't think you're stupid. But I said, you need to be hitting the ball before you hit the ground or instantaneously the same, basically. He said, but yeah, he got frustrated and said, I know that, Darrell, but how do I fix it? I said, Jack, listen real careful. I'm going to tell you how to fix it in one swing. He said, you're kidding. He said, these guys couldn't fix me with series after series after series. Am I okay? I said, no, it has nothing to do with that. I said, listen real closely. Here's how you fix that. Move your don't move the ball back in your stance. Move the divot forward 1 inch. He said, how do I do that? I said, I don't have a clue, Jack. I don't really know how to tell you that. So I put 3 broken tees, put one off his back foot, one in the center, and one in the front. I said, do me a favor with that 7-iron. Set up to the middle one, take it back, and hit the front one. He did it easily. I said, set up at the middle one, take it back, and hit the ground at the back one. He did it easily. I said, now take it back and hit the ground at that middle one. He did it easily. He said, there's nothing wrong with my golf swing? I said, no, you just fixed everything yourself by learning how to move your divot around. I shoved the golf ball out to him, and I said, here, just hit the ground where the ball is and quit hitting an inch behind it. His very first swing goes smack and hit the 7-iron 150, 60 yards or so. He said, how come all these guys have been working on my swing? I can't speak for them. I don't know. I said, you've got to learn to hit the ground right where the ball is. Now, golfers, that's the secret to making these fairway woods work. You can't see it when you look at the golf club. It just looks like just a piece of metal here, but it's hollow inside. Most of you know that. And there's some form, lead or something, weight on the bottom to weight this thing so at the center of this whole head, the center of gravity is low. When the club head smacks the turf, then the center of gravity of the club head is lower than the center of gravity of the golf ball, which is dead in the center of the golf ball. That combination with this club coming through its natural arc of a circle, smack, creates backspin, you've got flight, and the ball's off and running. It's flying instead of running. It's no longer running, it's flying. It's off and sailing. So what you've got to learn to do is you've got to learn to get the golf club to hit the ground exactly at the golf ball. It's just a timing issue is all it is, golfers. Most of you are working on your swing when you've got a timing problem. You go see a golf pro and pay for a lesson. He says, oh yeah, your hand's this, your head's moving. Yeah. Who gives a squat? Learn to make the club hit the ground right at, the sole of the club hit the ground right at the golf ball. You'll instantly have flight on that 3-wood, 5-wood, 7-wood, hybrid, whatever you're swinging, it'll be flying. I know that for a fact because I've seen thousands of golfers do it. So it'll work the same for you as it does for them, and I didn't tell them anything different than I've told you. Bounce the club off the ground, right at the golf ball, the ball flies. It's that simple. All right? Now go out and hit your fairway woods and your hybrids and begin having more fun. All right? Thank you very much. I appreciate you sharing some time with me today. I'll see you again another time. Bye-bye.